Hello to everybody. We are the team number two. The team is conformed by Cesar Castro, Emilio Padilla, Luis Ángel Cisneros, Isaí Díaz, Carlos Dotor, Jorge Nava, and me. We are a lot, yes, I know. And we are going to talk about migration and refugees that enter our country from Honduras. And now, why did we choose Honduras? We believe that Honduras is a very interesting country, full of culture, traditions, and with people capable of achieving a lot of things. But also a country that has very low economic levels. What caught our attention really is that the people from Honduras are very optimistic. They always try to try new things. They doesn't stay on the place where they are. So they are always trying to improve, and that's something very cool. Okay, so most of the Honduran people live in deplorable conditions, and that makes them want to migrate to other lands in which they seek a better opportunity than the one that they are living in their native country, Honduras in this case. So they try to migrate to Mexico, that it's the better option that they have. So this is the introduction, and let's move on to the next point.
Well, Honduras is a Latin American country occupying the same continental territory where we live in, just two countries in the south. So this means that the number of Hondurans coming to Mexico is incredibly high in comparison with other immigrants in other countries. So this one is the reason of why we should care more about these migrants that came from Honduras. And also we have to consider the current situation that are dealing as well as us with problems that are making more difficult them to have in our country or have a dignified life, and maybe don't have any war conflicts. Also, such as other countries in outside the continents, but there are crimes, poverty, and other characteristics that don't allow this.
Okay, so for my part, I'm going to talk about the reasons, the causes that make Hondurans leave their country to basically emigrate to another place, to another country. This sometimes can be the United States mainly, by Mexico, but also it can be, for example, Europe or Africa, Asia, Oceania. I don't know. Okay, so this is information taken from a study made many years ago, but I mean it is still reasonable. It has sense. The information we've got. I will obviously share the link in the references part, in the references slide. Okay, so now we're talking. I'm going to talk about these reasons. So according to this kind of poll they made, the various problems that were identified by the migrants that were, leaving their country were unemployment, low salaries, inflation and high cost of living, poverty and inequality, insecurity and crime, bad government and politicians and corruption and that kind of stuff. Lack of access to education, lack of access to health, lack of access to basic services such as water, electricity, and so on, lack of social programs, low investment, floods and natural disasters, drug consumption and trafficking, and, for example, last but not least, lack of access to housing. So these are kind of the main causes that made Hondurans take their decisions to leave their countries.
Hi, I will talk about the condition in which Hondurans live. First of all, we have that immigrants sleep on wooden pallets. Some have inflatable mattresses, but of course, like most of them don't have anything like that. And nowadays, it's been a little bit cold in the Mexican capital, so they start to need warm clothes. The neighbors of the area have helped given some jackets and sweaters so in order to help them. Children, pregnant women, and injured people who are right now the priority of space inside of the tents. They have food 3 times a day. There are 2 large dining rooms in which food is served. At the entrance of the stadium, there are also trucks that provide medical and psychological services. Some of them are from the government, and the others are from the 50 organizations that are helping. And the most common diseases are the respiratory tract.
First of all, one of the main challenges the Hondurans face is the police at the US border. This because most of the Hondurans migrants are actually trying to cross to USA, but they have to come to Mexico first. But a long way before, in the Guatemala-Mexico border are so many problems too. The amount of people trying to cross to Mexico is very high, overpopulating the borders, making difficult all the necessary processes. Now, Honduras has some of the most pronounced economic inequality in Latin America. In 2019, 52% of the citizens lived below the poverty line, according to the United Nations. We have to add the socio-economic situation of Mexico, which is nothing better, with an increasing crime rate, a notable economic breakdown, etc. And the available resources in Mexico are limited. We're still struggling with our problems, and helping outsiders make us to distribute our resources among more people, so everyone got even less.
Okay, now we are going to talk about the refugee camps where these Honduran people live. It was very interesting because there are not as many refugee camps as I think there will be. Because the thing here is that these people, Honduran people in the majority, doesn't stay on the states where they enter Mexico, like Tabasco, Campeche, Chiapas, Quintana Roo. What these people are trying to do or to find is a better opportunity than these states. What they are looking for is to keep walking and to reach the central part of Mexico, like the city of Mexico. This is the places like where they can find a real opportunity to work. Maybe there is opportunity of work on the southeast states like Chiapas, Tabasco, but they are not going to have a good salary. Maybe they are going to work a lot of time and don't get a lot of money. So that's why there are not a lot of refugee camps, because the migrants, the people, keep walking to the central part of the country, Mexico in this case. So there are refugee camps, of course, but they are located on the southeast of the country. I found one that was in Chiapas, that a lot of migrant people live there, not only from Honduras, but also from El Salvador, from Belize, from Guatemala. It's huge, as you can see on the image of the presentation, and there's a lot of migrant people that just stay there from some days and then they leave to try to find something new, a better quality of life and a better opportunity to work. So for me that was very interesting because it's true. Here on Metepec I have seen a lot of migrant people like walking on the street, like trying to find jobs or maybe money, and that's something very sad, but it makes a lot of sense because they are trying just to get to the city of Mexico, and maybe we should try to give them an opportunity to work, and that's something that I would think it's quite fair. So yeah, that's why there are not as many refugee camps in Mexico than the other countries.
People who come to Mexico from Honduras must go through many challenges to reach their destination. To begin, they must necessarily go through Guatemala, since it is the country that divides us. Many people who have the objective of reaching Mexico do not meet our country, Mexico, and they stay in Guatemala. Because they consider it to be a better country than Honduras, but most people continue on their way to the southeast of Mexico and generally enter through the state of Chiapas. Chiapas is the state that borders Guatemala, and it is the closest state to the route that migrant people are taking. This is the easiest and most viable option to enter Mexico, but there are also other many options. There are people who prefer to reach the state of Quintana Roo, despite the fact that the route is more complicated and they must take a longer road. They decide to do it because there is more job opportunity in Quintana Roo than in Chiapas. The third option that they have is the least viable, which is to get to either Tabasco or Campeche. But it is more complicated. There are not many job opportunities, and this means that people do not take this route so often. The previous two beginning is the most trafficked and used by immigrant people who want to enter to Mexico, to our country.
After investigating what are the main reasons why the Honduran people emigrate from their country to Mexico, how was their lifestyle, the way they are educated, the way they manage, the government that is managed, we can conclude that the only thing they are looking for is to have a better life. Not always the people that migrate are migrating for wrong causes or bad causes. They are looking for more opportunities to get out of their problems, to look at a place where they can have a second chance of life. And compared to the life being in Honduras and what they will have in Mexico, I think it is worthy to take the risk in order to get a better quality of life.